Hey, what's going on everybody? TrackIR here. Today we're going to be going over a different type of video. I was actually invited to go to ITSEC here in Orlando, and I had an amazing time, and my mind was blown. All of the exhibits that were there. There's so much technology that I had no idea it existed. Everything from trauma centers, you know, from the medical field, also different flight simulators, and also I got to fire an NLAW, which was pretty cool in a VR environment. But what my favorite booth was the Meta Immersive Synthetics. I was just mind blown at everything that they were doing, and that's what this video is about. Now, I just want to preface the video by saying that I went to the convention not knowing I was going to be making a video. I was going to the convention as a consumer just to experience all the new technology and see what's out there. So I did post a picture of the event on my community section of the YouTube, and I had a lot of questions, and also in my streams I've been having a lot of questions about NOR. So I just wanted to answer some of those questions and tell you what I know at the present time. So I did show up at the booth, which was actually really impressive, and they had a Eurofighter, 3 F-16 sims, and an MH-60, as well as a JTAC simulator. So I did get to use the F-16 simulator and the Eurofighter simulator, and we're going to talk about those. So I sat down at the F-16 booth, and they had an F-16 Wing HOTAS system, and also the Varo XR headset, which was amazing. So the computers that they were using were 4090s. They had 4090s on these computers. And I just have to say that the graphics blew my mind. So the graphics just blew my mind. And everything in the VR headset was completely readable. I could read everything, and everything was super smooth. So after a few minutes of just getting acquainted with the F-16 HOTAS, I have never used the F-16 HOTAS. I have the Thrustmaster A10 HOTAS. So it took me a few minutes just to get used to everything. And I have to say that the flight model I felt was extremely well done. I only got to fly it for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, so it's hard to come up with a conclusion of how a flight model works in that amount of time. I mainly spent most of my time doing a 9G turn, doing some loops, and I was also fumbling my way through all the different pages. I was trying to figure out the HOTAS commands, you know, to get into the dogfight mode. I know how to do it on my HOTAS, but I was trying to figure it out on the F-16 HOTAS. One thing I'll say that I really enjoy was the FCR, and in the VR headset, it was so clear I could actually read, you know, the elevation numbers, which is really hard to do on some VR headsets. So after a few minutes of just getting acquainted with the aircraft, the employee asked me, do I want to fly in formation with the guy next to me? And I said, hell yeah, I want to fly with the guy next to me. So we did some formation flying a little bit, and then he broke off, I broke off, and I was still trying to figure out some of the systems. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to shoot this guy down. So I went into dogfight mode, locked him up in bore sight mode, and I had an AIM-9X, slaved right onto him, uncaged it, fired it, Fox 2, boom, killed him, and I was extremely happy and I was laughing. But that was the end of my F-16 demo. They kicked me out and they were like, hey, you're no longer welcome here for shooting down another guy. But no, I'm just kidding. I did shoot him down, but that didn't happen. So after that, I went to the Eurofighter simulator. I sat down, put on the Varo headset, and it's a Eurofighter aerial refueling scenario. And they told me that only 2 other people connected to the basket at the time, and there was 2 Eurofighter pilots. So of course, I wanted to give it a shot and see if I could connect. And the one thing I gotta say that really blew my mind is that the basket actually moves in the air like it's supposed to. So it moves in the air, and then I'm trying to connect to this basket in the Eurofighter. And if you actually hit the basket, so my first attempt, I went a little too far, and I actually hit the basket on the wing, and the hose actually whips. So the hose whips and the basket moves, and I was like, wow. I was just mind blown. I was like, this is amazing. Like, this would be so cool if it came to other simulators. So after a couple more attempts and the hose whipping, and I was just so impressed by the hose whipping, I finally connected, but I only connected for a couple of seconds. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it again. And so this time I try to really jam it in there. I try to jam it in that basket. And when I jammed it in the basket, I went too hard and my probe came off. The probe came off. It was stuck in the basket. So here I am in VR laughing because I went in too hard. The probe came off and I'm looking at the basket and I can see the probe hanging from the basket. And that was just so hilarious to me. And that was my experience with the Eurofighter. I did want to do the MH60, but there was a line for it, so I didn't get to attempt to do it. But just talking with some of the employees there, you could tell they're extremely passionate about what they do. And of course, the pressing question, is this coming to consumers anytime soon? And I did ask that question, and the answer is no, not at the present time. It is for the military and their DoD contractors. But in my opinion, I hope it comes to the consumer sometime soon, because this was an amazing experience, and just some of the stuff that they're doing, I would love to see for myself. So I really appreciate everybody joining me today. This was just my quick experience while using the NOR platform. Again, mind blown. Flight models were great, and the hose mechanics on the Eurofighter for the basket were just incredible. I know there's a lot of questions out there about DCS comparisons with the NOR platform, but I'm not going to do that today. This is just me talking about my experience using the NOR platform, and I gotta say, I'm impressed. So hopefully some of these things come to DCS or other simulators soon, and I really appreciate everybody joining me today. Hope to see you on the next video.